In 1939, Nazi Germany possessed what believed was the ultimate weapon. Not a bomb, not a tank, but a machine. The Enigma cipher device encrypted every German military message into seemingly random gibberish. German commanders believed it was mathematically unbreakable. With 159 quintillion possible settings, no human could crack it. They were wrong. Hidden in Washington, D.C., a secret team of American mathematicians, linguists, and puzzle solvers waged a silent war against Enigma. They worked in unmarked buildings, told no one what they did, and changed history without firing a single shot. This is their story. The men and women who broke the unbreakable code and shortened World War II by years, saving millions of lives. For decades, their work remained classified, their names unknown. Now, 80 years later, we can finally tell the truth. American codebreakers won the secret war that made Allied victory possible. Understanding how American codebreakers defeated Enigma requires understanding the machine itself. Enigma looked like a typewriter in a wooden box. But inside were 3 rotating wheels, rotors, each wired to scramble letters in complex patterns. Type the letter, and depending on rotor positions, it might encrypt as Q. Type another 1 second later, and the rotors would have advanced, encrypting it as F. Below the rotor sat a plug board, a panel where cables connected letter pairs, adding another layer of scrambling. Above the keyboard, lights illuminated the encrypted letter. Every German operator set their machine to daily key settings published in code books, rotor positions, plug board connections. Only machines set identically could decrypt messages. Without knowing the settings, encrypted messages were gibberish. The mathematics were staggering. With 3 rotors chosen from 5 possible, 26 starting positions each, and 10 plug board connections, Enigma offered 159 quintillion possible settings. German cryptographers believed this made Enigma absolutely secure. Allied codebreakers would need to test every setting, an impossible task requiring centuries of calculation. But the Germans made fatal assumptions that Allied codebreakers were merely clever, that mathematics alone couldn't crack Enigma, and that Americans, in particular, posed no cryptographic threat. Every assumption was wrong. The first breakthrough against Enigma came not from America or Britain, but from Poland. In the 1930s, Polish mathematicians Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Rositzky, and Henryk Zygalski exploited Enigma's mathematical patterns. They built bombs, electromechanical machines that tested thousands of rotor settings per hour, searching for daily keys. When Germany invaded Poland in September 1939, Polish codebreakers fled to France, then Britain, bringing their Enigma knowledge to British intelligence at Bletchley Park. There, mathematician Alan Turing refined the bomb machines, and British cryptanalysts began reading German military traffic. But Britain alone couldn't win the cryptographic war. German forces used multiple Enigma variants, Army, Navy, Air Force, each with different protocols. German naval Enigma, used by U-boats devastating Allied shipping, proved especially difficult. Britain needed help. In 1940, they shared Enigma secrets with America through a secret intelligence exchange. The American military established OP-20G, the Navy's cryptanalysis section, in Washington, D.C. American cryptanalysts brought fresh perspectives, different approaches, and critical resources. While British codebreakers focused on European signals, Americans targeted Pacific and Atlantic naval codes. Together, Allied codebreakers formed an intelligence partnership that would prove decisive. The secret war was beginning, and America was entering the fight. By 1941, German U-boats were winning the Battle of the Atlantic. Submarines attacked Allied convoys carrying food, fuel, and weapons from America to Britain. In 1940 alone, U-boats sank over 4 million tons of Allied shipping. If the Atlantic shipping lanes closed, Britain would starve and the war would be lost. German U-boats coordinated through encrypted radio messages. Enigma allowed U-boat commanders to report convoy positions, receive attack orders, and coordinate wolfpack tactics, all while Allied forces listened helplessly to indecipherable transmissions. But Naval Enigma was different from other variants. It used 4 rotors instead of 3, exponentially increasing possible settings. German naval operators changed settings more frequently and used stricter procedures. British codebreakers struggled for months without success. American cryptanalysts at WW2 approached the problem differently. Led by Agnes Meyer Driscoll, a legendary codebreaker nicknamed Miss Aggie, the American team developed new statistical techniques for attacking the 4-rotor problem. In February 1942, Germany introduced a new naval Enigma variant codenamed Triton by the Allies and Shark by the Germans. For 10 months, Allied codebreakers were blind. U-boat messages became unreadable again. Merchant ship losses skyrocketed. The race was on. Could Allied codebreakers crack Shark before the Atlantic lifeline was cut forever? Mathematics alone couldn't break Shark fast enough. Allied forces needed actual Enigma materials, codebooks, rotor wiring diagrams, daily key settings. British and American naval forces launched daring operations to capture German vessels and retrieve cryptographic materials. In May 1941, HMS Bulldog captured U-110, recovering an Enigma machine and current codebooks, a breakthrough that allowed months of naval Enigma decryption. In October 1942, British destroyers forced U-559 to surface in the Mediterranean. As the submarine sank, Lieutenant Anthony Faw's son and able seaman Colin Grazier boarded the sinking vessel, searching for Enigma materials. They found codebooks and equipment, passing them to waiting sailors before the submarine plunged. Both men died, but their sacrifice provided materials that helped crack Shark. American submarines in the Pacific conducted similar operations against Japanese vessels, capturing codebooks and cipher equipment. These physical captures complemented mathematical cryptanalysis. Captured materials revealed rotor wirings, standard message formats, and operational procedures, clues that narrowed the mathematical search space. By December 1942, combining capture materials with intensive cryptanalysis, Allied codebreakers finally cracked Shark. U-boat messages became readable again. The Atlantic convoy routes could be rerouted away from wolf packs. The tide was turning. Behind every broken code were people, the unsung heroes of the secret war. Thousands of Americans worked in cryptanalysis, most sworn to absolute secrecy. At WW2 and its associate facilities, cryptanalysts worked 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, processing thousands of encrypted messages daily. The work required extraordinary mental stamina. Cryptanalysts studied German message patterns, searching for cribs, predictable phrases like "nothing to report" or "weather report" that appeared in encrypted messages. These cribs provided starting points for bomb machines to test potential daily keys. Women comprised over half the cryptanalytic workforce. Agnes Meyer Driscoll pioneered techniques for breaking Japanese and German naval codes. Elizabeth Friedman, working for the Coast Guard and FBI, broke Enigma variants used by Nazi spies in South America. These women worked in secrecy, received no public recognition, and were paid less than male colleagues, yet their contributions were indispensable. The psychological toll was severe. Cryptanalysts knew that decrypted messages revealed U-boat positions, plan attacks, convoy routes. Lives depended on their work. A calculation error could doom a convoy. Success meant ships saved, sailors alive, families intact. And they could never tell anyone what they did or why it mattered. Decrypted Enigma messages, codenamed Ultra Intelligence, gave Allied commanders an unprecedented advantage. They could read German plans before German forces executed them. In the Atlantic, Ultra revealed U-boat positions, allowing convoys to route around wolf packs. Merchant ship losses plummeted. The Atlantic lifeline remained open. In North Africa, Ultra disclosed German supply convoy routes to Rommel's Afrika Korps. British forces attacked those convoys, starving Rommel's army of fuel and ammunition, contributing to Allied victory at El Alamein. In Europe, Ultra revealed German troop dispositions, defensive positions, and counterattack plans. Allied commanders knew where German forces were weak and where they were strong. But Ultra created an agonizing dilemma. Using the intelligence risked revealing that Enigma was broken. If Germans realized their code were compromised, they would change procedures and the intelligence advantage would vanish. Allied commanders developed elaborate deception plans. When Ultra revealed a German convoy's route, Allied reconnaissance aircraft would discover the convoy first, providing a plausible reason for the subsequent attack. When Ultra disclosed German positions, Allied forces would conduct visible reconnaissance before attacking. The deception worked. Throughout the war, German commanders never realized Enigma was systematically broken. They blamed losses on Allied luck, improved radar, or traitors, never suspecting the mathematical truth. By June 1944, Allied codebreakers were reading German Enigma messages faster than some German commanders. In the months before D-Day, ultra-intelligence proved crucial. American and British cryptanalysts decrypted German messages, revealing defensive positions along the French coast, troop strengths, Rommel's inspection schedules, and German assessments of likely invasion sites. Ultra confirmed that German intelligence believed the invasion would strike at Pas-de-Calais, the closest point between England and France, rather than Normandy. Allied deception operations, validated by Ultra intercepts, convinced Hitler to keep forces at Calais even after Normandy landings began. On D-Day itself, Ultra revealed German confusion about whether Normandy was a main invasion or a diversion. Decrypted messages showed German reinforcements delayed by conflicting orders, exactly as Allied planners had hoped. In the weeks after D-Day, Ultra disclosed German counterattack plans, allowing Allied forces to prepare defenses and reinforcements. When German panzer divisions prepared major offensives, Allied commanders already knew timing, objectives, and force composition. The intelligence advantage shortened the Normandy campaign and saved thousands of Allied lives. Historians estimate that ultra-intelligence shortened the European war by at least 2 years, preventing millions of casualties and incalculable suffering. And German commanders never suspected. They died believing Enigma was secure. While European cryptanalysts battled Enigma, American codebreakers in the Pacific fought different encryption systems and achieved even more dramatic victories. Japanese forces used multiple cipher systems. The Japanese Navy's JN 25 code encrypted operational messages. The Japanese diplomatic Purple cipher machine encrypted high-level government communications. American cryptanalysts stationed HYPO in Pearl Harbor, led by Commander Joseph Rockefort, broke JN 25 and read Japanese naval communications. In May 1942, decrypted messages revealed Japanese plans to attack Midway Island. Despite skepticism from Washington, Admiral Chester Nimitz trusted the intelligence. American carriers ambushed the Japanese fleet at Midway, sinking 4 Japanese carriers and turning the Pacific War's tide. After Midway, American codebreakers provided intelligence that enabled the island-hopping campaign. Decrypted messages revealed Japanese convoy routes, supply schedules, and defensive preparations. In April 1943, decrypted messages disclosed Admiral Yamamoto's inspection tour schedule. American fighters ambushed Yamamoto's aircraft over Bougainville, killing the architect of Pearl Harbor. The Purple cipher machine, broken before Pearl Harbor by Army cryptanalyst William Friedman, provided political intelligence throughout the war. Americans read Japanese diplomatic messages. understanding Japan's strategic thinking and negotiating positions. Pacific code breaking saved American lives and shortened the war against Japan. Enigma intelligence created moral dilemmas that haunt history. In November 1940, Ultra revealed German plans to bomb Coventry, England. Churchill faced an impossible choice: evacuate the city and risk revealing that Enigma was broken, or allow the attack and preserve the secret. Churchill chose secrecy. Coventry burned. Over 500 civilians died. Historians still debate whether Churchill could have protected Coventry without compromising Ultra. Some argue targeted evacuations and enhanced defenses wouldn't have revealed the source. Others maintain that any unusual preparations would have alerted German intelligence. The dilemma repeated throughout the war. When Ultra revealed U-boat positions, Allied forces sometimes couldn't attack because no plausible cover story existed. Convoys sailed into danger when attacking would compromise the secret. American merchant sailors died in attacks that Ultra intelligence could have prevented if revealing the intelligence hadn't risked the entire cryptographic advantage. These decisions, made in secret by military and political leaders, balanced immediate casualties against long-term strategic advantage. It was utilitarian ethics at its most brutal. Sacrifice hundreds to save thousands. Sacrifice thousands to save millions. The cryptanalysts who produced the intelligence knew their work saved lives, but also knew that secrecy requirements sometimes prevented using intelligence to save specific people. It was the terrible calculus of the secret war. As the war progressed, code-breaking technology evolved rapidly. British engineer Tommy Flowers developed Colossus, the world's first programmable electronic computer, to break German Lorenz cipher machines used for high-level communications. Colossus processed data at unprecedented speeds, using vacuum tubes instead of mechanical switches. American cryptanalysts developed IBM punch card machines for statistical analysis of encrypted messages. These machines automated calculations that previously required hours of manual work. The National Cash Register Company in Dayton, Ohio, secretly manufactured over 100 American bomb machines, improved versions of British designs, processing thousands of Enigma settings per hour. By 1945, Allied cryptanalysis combined human insight with mechanical computation. Mathematicians identified patterns, machines tested hypotheses, and the system broke codes that would have been impossible just years earlier. This technological evolution laid foundations for modern computing and cryptography. Engineers who built wartime code-breaking machines later developed commercial computers. Cryptanalysts who broke Enigma founded the National Security Agency and shaped modern intelligence gathering. The secret war against Enigma didn't just help win World War II. It created the information age. When Germany surrendered in May 1945, Allied cryptanalysts had broken virtually every German cipher system. They'd read millions of encrypted messages, influenced countless military operations, and shortened the war by years. But their victory remained secret. British and American governments immediately classified all Enigma intelligence. Codebreakers were ordered never to discuss their work. Not with family, not with historians, not with anyone. The secrecy had practical purposes. Enigma machines and techniques had been sold or distributed to dozens of countries after the war. If nations knew Enigma was broken, they'd abandon it. But if secrecy held, Allied intelligence could continue reading communications from former German allies and neutral nations still using Enigma technology. The deception worked. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, dozens of countries used Enigma variants, believing them secure. Western intelligence agencies read their traffic. Not until 1974 did Britain begin declassifying Enigma secrets. American declassification followed in the 1990s. Only then could the codebreakers finally tell their stories. Agnes Meyer Driscoll died in 1971. Her contribution still classified. Elizabeth Friedman died in 1980, shortly before her work was declassified. Thousands of American and British cryptanalysts died without recognition, their wartime service unknown even to their families. They'd won the secret war and remained silent about it for decades. Beginning in the 1970s, the secret war story finally emerged. British group Captain F.W. Winterbotham published The Ultra Secret in 1974, revealing Allied code breaking for the first time. The book shocked historians who'd written World War II histories without knowing about Enigma intelligence. American declassification followed. The National Security Agency released documents revealing OP 20G's contributions, Agnes Meyer Driscoll's pioneering work, and American cryptanalytic achievements. Historians rewrote World War II history, incorporating ultra-intelligence into their analyses. Battles once attributed to Allied luck or German incompetence were revealed as intelligence victories. Strategic decisions that seemed reckless were shown to be informed by decrypted enemy communications. The Codebreakers, now elderly, finally received recognition. Britain honored Bletchley Park veterans. America established a National Cryptologic Museum to preserve code-breaking history. Alan Turing, the British mathematician who refined bomb machines and advanced computer science, was posthumously recognized as a war hero and scientific genius. Tragically, Turing had been persecuted for homosexuality after the war and died by suicide in 1954. His wartime contributions still classified and unknown. Agnes Meyer Driscoll, Elizabeth Friedman, and other American cryptanalysts received belated recognition from NSA and military historians. The National Security Agency, founded in 1952 and built on wartime cryptanalytic foundations, acknowledged its debt to the Enigma codebreakers who proved that signals intelligence could change history. The Enigma codebreakers created legacies far beyond World War II. Their work demonstrated that mathematical analysis, combined with computing power, could break any cipher. This realization drove post-war cryptography to develop stronger encryption systems. The National Security Agency, founded in 1952, employed many former wartime cryptanalysts and inherited their techniques, technologies, and institutional knowledge. Modern NSA capabilities trace directly to Enigma-breaking foundations. The computers developed for wartime code-breaking evolved into commercial computing. Engineers who built Colossus and American bomb machines later developed IBM mainframes, pioneering computer companies and information technology industry. Modern public key encryption, used in internet security and electronic commerce, emerged from cryptographic research begun during World War II. The mathematical principles that broke Enigma inform the algorithms that protect modern digital communications. The Enigma story also teaches that no encryption is permanently secure. Any system designed by humans can be broken by humans, given sufficient resources, intelligence, and determination. Today, cryptography remains crucial to national security, economic security, and personal privacy. The silent war against Enigma established principles that govern modern information warfare, that signals intelligence can provide decisive advantage, that secrecy must protect methods and sources, and that mathematical innovation drives both code-making and code-breaking. The Enigma code-breakers prove that intelligence victories can be as decisive as battlefield victories, sometimes more so. The men and women who broke Enigma fought a war without weapons, won victories without fanfare, and saved lives without recognition. They were mathematicians who saw patterns in chaos, linguists who decoded meaning from gibberish, engineers who built impossible machines, women who worked in secrecy while their contributions were dismissed or minimized. For decades, they remained silent about the most important work of their lives. They watched historians credit Allied victory to generals and admirals without mentioning the intelligence that informed every decision. They died without telling their families what they'd accomplished, but their legacy endures. The Atlantic shipping lanes they kept open, the convoys they saved, the invasions they enabled, the war they shortened, the millions of lives they saved. Modern intelligence agencies trace their lineage directly to these pioneers. Modern computing evolved from machines they built. Modern cryptography builds on foundations they established. When you access a secure website, when your financial data is encrypted, when intelligence agencies protect national security, you're benefiting from work begun by Enigma codebreakers 80 years ago. They prove that intelligence, human and mathematical, can defeat any threat, that impossible problems yield to brilliant minds, that silent heroes change history. The war had many heroes, but the codebreakers who broke Enigma won a victory that made all others possible. Remember them. Remember what they proved, that minds can triumph over machines, that mathematics can defeat tyranny, and that sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones whose names we never knew.